still be happy. You can do whatever you like. You don't have to be ready.
Hey cuties, and welcome back to another CC collection video. Today I'm going to share all of my makeup CC items that I currently have in my game with you. As always, you can find links to everything in the description down below. I'll also make sure to link you to a playlist of all of my previous CC collection videos, because there's a bunch, not just on female Sims but also male Sims, toddlers, kids, infants. It's all there for like all sorts of different categories of the game. So if you're in need of more CC after today's video, it's there if you want to check it out. But without further ado, let's get straight into this. I always, love doing these videos. It's just something so satisfying of getting all of the links together, putting it in a list with like numbers so it's all neat and tidy. It's just very satisfying. Okay, so I love doing these. They do take quite a long time though, which I don't know why I always do this to myself, but I'm currently pre-recording, and whenever I pre-record I just tend to choose videos that take forever to make. But it's also because I think they're like my most favorite ones first to make, but also the best received ones. So it's the best of both worlds. The only downside is that they take forever. But I'm just happy to get them done. I am hoping to upload twice a week until I haven't mentioned this, my boyfriend is going to visit me for 18 days. I will be hoping to upload 2 videos every week until he's gone. Maybe we can get back to 3 after that. I don't want to aim too high, okay, but I mean, there has been times in my life where I managed to upload 4 times a week even though I was doing other things, so God knows how I did that. But 3 videos for right now. I think I'm manageable after I'm done with the pre-recording. It's also just really hard because usually when my boyfriend comes over, I will visit him before or after for 2 weeks as well. So it's like a whole month that I have to pre-record for, and it gets very hard at that point because it's just so much I have to do in advance, and I can't really do a lot from at his place. So there's that. And then when we get back here, because when I'm there he is working, so we don't really get a lot of free time, like basically on the weekends and then after he gets back from work, which as you can imagine is not that much. So whenever we're here we try to just take like the 2 weeks off and do things together, so I don't want to be constantly working. But it's hard. It is definitely tricky, but this time because I am getting a new roommate on Sunday and I have 2 cats. I don't know. I never know if people who watch videos 3 minutes in, if those are just people that watch me regularly and know all of this and I just keep repeating myself, or if you're new, but either way, hello. But yeah, I have 2 cats, so obviously having a new roommate, I didn't want to leave the cats with this stranger straight away. Like, I need to get a sense for how this guy is. How is he going to be with my cats? Am I going to be okay leaving the cats here with him? All of that stuff. I'm sure I will be eventually once I get to know him better, but 2 weeks after having lived with him seemed a bit rash to head over to the UK, a whole different country, and leave my babies here. I feel like every fur parent will understand. So this time I'm not going to go back to the UK, but the summer is going to be so busy. I feel like I'm going to be back and forth from the UK and here constantly, and I am not the biggest fan of traveling. Don't know what it is. I just get very nauseous, and I feel like a lot of times that is because cheap flights are very early in the morning, so I always wake up at like 3 a.m. after having slept for 3 hours or something. So that is obviously a challenge, and I don't do very well on lack of sleep. I think I'm better if I don't sleep at all. I'm not great, but I'm better than if I sleep 3 hours, but you always just want to rest at least a little bit, I feel like. I don't know. To anyone else who travels frequently, I feel like you would understand. I just get so nauseous and like way more travel sick when I wake up too early, because I feel like your body starts digesting during the night, obviously. And if you wake up in the middle of that process, I feel like you just end up being nauseous all day long. And then Obviously, if you travel, it's not like you eat great food, like maybe eat for breakfast, but I don't really eat at that point. Like I usually eat on the plane or once I'm on the way to my boyfriend. There's also like a lot of moving going on because I have to take a train to the airport that takes like 30 minutes. Then I'm obviously at the airport, then I have to take a plane, and then I have to take a bus for 2.5 hours to get to his, which is the longest part of the journey, ridiculously. Like, it's always so annoying because it's like, oh, I'm here, and then you're like, hold on, I've got like the longest part ahead of me yet. It's always just a bit annoying, and I hate bus journeys. When I was a child, I used to always get car sick. Like on every single car ride, I would get car sick, and it was just so awful because I feel like back then there were no things like giving kids travel medication, anything like that. So I just had to suffer through it. And my family went everywhere by car, like Italy. We went to Greece. We literally took a ferry. So like we went down to Italy and then took a ferry to Greece. And oh my God, like just super long car rides. And then back when I was a child, cars did not have AC either. So it was just boiling hot in the car. I hated that car smell. Oh my God. Let me know if you got car sick as a child, because if you did, it was just torture, honestly. Then we always visited my family that live on the opposite side of Germany, which is like a 4 to 5 hour car ride when I was younger. So I spent a lot of time in cars when I got car sick, and I feel like car sickness is so annoying as well because even when you arrive at your destination, the car sickness kind of just lingers for the rest of the day, and then I would already get like psychosomatic things the day before, like the day before, the night before, I would already get car sick without having been in a car, just because I was like anticipating to get car sick. So needless to say, that was a nightmare. So as a child, I was super bad. Now in cars, I'm usually fine for the most part. I can't really do anything with my eyes when I'm in the car though. I need to like look out the window and I can't be on my phone. I can't read a map. I couldn't play a game. I couldn't read a book. Those sort of things. Like everything I can do is like auditive stimulation, or I guess talk to the people who are also in the car if there is people in the car. And that it's like on and off. Some days are worse than others. I feel like it's just some people get motion sick more than other people. And it also depends on the car. Like when I lived in the US with my host family there, I remember they had one car that was like very low to the ground. So even when I was the driver, I would frequently get nauseous driving it just because I was so low down to the ground whilst driving. And then if I'm in cars that are way higher up, like I once drove a VW bus with my stepdad, which was so much fun, and like I wouldn't get car sick in that at all. So it's like levels to it, I guess. I love how we're having like a deep dive into my car sickness, but the bottom line is when I drive myself, I don't get car sick unless it's like a bad car. And when I'm the co-driver, is that the word? Passenger? Either way. I usually don't get car sick anymore. Like I can even look at my phone a few times and like text or something and I'll be fine, but I just couldn't like read for hours or play a game for hours. I get car sick so fast. So yeah, that bus ride at the end of the journey just kills me because you get up at 3 a.m. for a flight that's at like 7 or something. So obviously you have to be there 3 hours early, which we love. And then I have to like walk to the train with my luggage, like carry all of these heavy bags. I also hate that on trains, it's always way too hot. I don't get why it's like that. And I feel like I just have an issue with temperature regulation because honestly, when I go outside and I start walking, I get really, really hot. And then getting on a train that is also really hot whilst it's still cold outside and no one takes off their jacket, their hat, their gloves, their scarves. Everyone's just wearing like their full winter gear. And I'm like, how are people doing that? Like, if I wouldn't take anything off, I would literally be dripping in sweat. Like, I'd have sweat running down my back. TMI, but you know, that's just how it is. Like, I would be so sweaty, so I don't get how people do that. Like, as soon as I enter a warmer room, I have to take everything off and be like, okay, body, regulate. And then the issue also is that when you start sweating and then you go back outside, you're way colder than before, obviously, because like your whole body is covered in sweat or dried sweat. I feel like dried sweat also makes you cold. Whatever. Why are we talking about sweat? How did we get here? I share way too much information on this voiceover today, but hey, it's human, okay? I just don't understand how other people don't get it. Like, I don't understand how you can wear your full winter gear in a warm train and not be super hot. And then obviously at the airport, I feel like it's always hot. On the plane, it's always super cold or way too hot. I feel like usually it's just way too cold. That's why I never wear, even in summer, that's why I never wear very little clothing when I have a plane ride, because I just feel like planes are so cold that I couldn't stand it. And I'm also not used to like heavily AC'd rooms, because in Europe it's not really that much of a thing. Like, even at supermarkets here, at the most of them, I think they change all of the other ones, because before, like, all of the smaller supermarkets, like the cheaper ones, only had fridges that you could open the doors of, so it wasn't like an open display. So obviously the coolness would stay inside the fridge, if that makes sense. So the supermarket wasn't super cold. But some of the more expensive supermarkets had like open display, but I think they need to change it now, which makes so much sense, because I always thought it's such a waste of energy to just have these open fridges and like cool down the whole place so that the food items themselves will stay cool. That was always weird. But living in the US, I would always suffer so much because I felt like the tubes were too cold. Like, any public transport was way too cold. Like, in summer, I would literally shiver because it was just way too cold, and I don't understand how anyone does it. Apartments, like houses, always too cold because they had their AC cranked up to the max. So you'd walk in and inside it feels like 15 degrees when it's 35 outside, and you're like, what is this? And supermarkets as well. Like, even in the middle of summer, I had to bring like a little cardigan or something, or hoodie, to wear to the supermarket because the supermarket was so cold. Malls as well. Like, I don't get it. I understand that you would make it a little bit cooler so that you can walk around, get your stuff done, and it would be like a nice comfy temperature. But they just crank the AC up so much that like any normal human is gonna start getting cold. Well, not any normal human. I feel like if you grow up with that type of AC usage, then you're probably just used to it and don't get cold anymore. But I just don't understand how people can't get cold. Like, I just suffer so much in heavily AC'd areas. Also, hotel rooms, like, I always turn it down to like a very minimal temperature change to the outside world. Like, obviously it's nice if you can sleep and you're not constantly woken up because you overheat, but having it be so cold that in summer I have to wear a hoodie to the supermarket seems so inefficient. Like, that's just a waste of energy, honestly. Let me know if you're still here. Let me know, what relationships do you have with ACs? Okay, I feel like this is very important. But anyways, the video is coming to an end real soon here. I hope you enjoyed all of the makeup. I hope I can try to update all of these videos like once a year, because I feel like I add and take out quite a few items throughout a year. So it will be nice to, you know, get an update quite frequently. I say it quite frequently, it's a year, but anyways. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you all next time. Bye!